today we will be working with squares and rectangles. Now, if you remember what a square is a figure, a shape that has four sides. But the thing about a square is that all of its sides are equal. They're the same. And also with a rectangle, it has four sides, but a rectangle, the opposite sides are the same. The opposite sides are the same. So also another thing with the square and the rectangle is that instead of saying sides, we're going to say that they have a length and a width. Okay? So a square has a length and a width, and a rectangle has a length and a width. The length tells us how long it is, and the width tells us how wide it is. Okay? And for length, we usually use an L. Represents length. And we use a W to represent width. Okay, so now that we're setting up all our parts of our shapes, now I'm going to introduce you to this right here. This is called a square unit. This square unit is 1 and 1 square unit. And if you notice that the square unit matches up to each square inside this square. Well, when we look at squares, we already know what perimeter is. We've learned what a perimeter is. Perimeter is all the outside, the sides of the figure, the shape, added together. So that's dealing with the outside of the figure. Let's go on the inside of the figure. How can we find how much space is there on the inside of that figure? So what we're going to do is we're going to see how many square units can we put in on the inside. How many can we match up on the inside? And that will give us the amount of space that's inside. And we call that the area. Let's try to see the area of these figures. Okay, so I'm going to take a few tiles that I have here, and I'm going to just place them in here. So I have 1, 2, let me get it up just right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so I was able to fit 9 square units into this square. Okay, so what does that mean? The area of this square is 9 square units. Okay, so it's 9 square inches, because we're dealing with inches here, right? Okay, so are we always going to just fill everything with color tiles with these square units to try to figure out what the area is? No, we're not going to be able to do that for everything. So there's a formula that we can use to find the area. And it's just as simple as this. Do you notice that, okay, so we have 9 square units is what's inside. Then we have 3 is the length and 3 is the width. Let's see. Isn't 3 times 3 9? Yes, it is. Okay, so that's the formula for finding the area of a square. area, which we're just going to say area. Okay? And the formula is A. We're just going to use a simple A to represent area equals the length, which is L, times the width. Okay? So for a square, if you need to find the area, the spaces on the inside, we're just going to simply multiply its length times its width. Okay, so let's move on to a few examples. Now here I have a rectangle. A rectangle, the same thing. You just multiply the length times the width. Now we have the length is 3 and the width is 5. So instead of going and trying to fill that in with all those square units, we're going to just use our formula. Okay, so if we have a length of 3 and a width of 5, so area equals the length, which is 3, times the width, which is 5, equals 15. So, and we're dealing with inches. So, the answer is 15 inches, square inches. Okay? Alright, so let's go on to another example. This also is a rectangle, and its sides are, its length is 2, and its width is 8. Okay? So what we're going to do is area equals 2, which is the length, times 8, which is the width, and that gives us 16 square inches. Now let's see, we have, let's say if we had this square with sides of 10. So its length is 10 and its width is 10. That's a lot of square units in there. Probably would take up a lot of square units, of our square units in this container. So instead of trying to put all of them on there, we're just going to use our simple formula. So we have area equals 10 times 10, which equals 100 square inches. Okay, so now we know how to find our area for a square and a rectangle. Okay, let's say I put this up here. What is that? A triangle. How are we going to find the area of a triangle? We're not today, because we don't, a triangle doesn't have a length or a width. It has something else. So we're not going to be able to find the area of a triangle today. Okay, so I always remember when you're dealing with area, it's in square units. Let's remember a square. Okay, a square has a length and a width. A rectangle has a length as well as a width. So in order to find, the length is L, the width W, we use W for the width, and the formula for area is area equals the length times the width. And also remember that with area we deal with square units. So your answers are always going to be in square units. So if I have 10 inches on this side and 10 inches on this side, my answer is going to be 100 square inches. Okay? So when someone asks you to find the area of a square or rectangle, your answer is going to be the area is whatever it is in square inches.